owner of Sweet Arleen's here in Westlake Village, California. And today I have with me Julia, our executive pastry chef.
Hello.
We're going to focus today on troubleshooting some of the key problems in baking cupcakes and cakes. And the first problem that we're going to troubleshoot is my cake sticks to my pan when I'm ready to depan it, okay? So to prevent sticking from your pan for your cakes, you're going to actually do two things. And most recipes will only tell you one. They'll tell you either to spray the pan with some kind of nonstick spray, or sometimes they do say to line it with parchment paper. But what we found is the perfect way to depan your baked cakes is to do both. So we are going to first start with the parchment paper to line the bottom of your cake pan. To do that, we're going to use a pencil and circle around the bottom of your cake pan. And then Julia is going to go ahead and cut a perfect cylinder there that will fit right in the center.
Excellent.
Okay. And when we are done with placing the circle on the bottom, we're going to add the nonstick spray to just the sides of the baking pan. So again, this is for baking your cakes, lining with parchment paper and spraying with the nonstick spray.
This goes right inside, should fit perfectly. This technique will work with any shape of a cake pan, like a heart, square, flower, anything. Once it's in, you just take this and right at the angle, spray along the sides, like that.
Okay, so that looks perfect then for pouring our batter into.
Perfect indeed.
Okay. So let's show then, Julia, the difference of if we didn't do both of those steps. So what's the first example you have?
This here is spray only.
Okay.
So there's nothing on the bottom. We only sprayed the pan. It might come out okay. Some batters won't. But this one, you can see it's really stuck to the bottom. I'm using my spatula to pretty forcefully pull it out. And here it comes.
Okay, and likely we'll have some cake left on the bottom of the pan,
yeah,
right?
Still
so
intact,
kind of crumbly.
but that's still not ideal.
Okay.
Not for the kind of cakes you would want.
So let's look at parchment paper only.
Okay, so here's an example of parchment paper. It's definitely stuck to the sides. It's baked on.
Okay.
So in order to remove it, I'm going to put my spatula around the edge. But this also is not ideal. Like, you don't want to have to do this consistently because you're working with metal, could get shards in there. It's just less desirable. It does come right out from the bottom.
Okay. So the bottom is perfect. It's just the sides then that start to crumbly.
Yeah, you don't want this extra.
All right. And then now let's take a look at an example with no paper and no spray.
Yeah.
Can we even get that cake out of there, Julia?
Let's take a try.
Okay.
I'm gonna try and run this around the edge. I can tell it's super baked on there.
Okay. Now keep in mind when you are applying the spray to the sides of the pan, you're going to spray all the way up because as the cake bakes, it's going to rise. So you don't want to have just the lower part of your pan sprayed and not the upper portion. All right. Well, we can go ahead and take a look at this. And oh my goodness, we even broke it trying to get it out of there.
Yeah, and I've depanned a lot of cakes. So you can tell it is torn the bottom. I know my mom would put a little frosting in there and push it together.
But not ideal.
Overall, it's just a lower quality of cake than what's desirable.
And
this is fully caked on. You have a ton of dishes. No bueno.
Okay, so now the perfect cake. Let's take a look at the parchment paper and the spray combination.
Right, and you still want to run your spatula around the side, but this is, I'm not even undoing anything. It's just floating around like perfect.
Okay,
I don't have to do
so you're not
anything.
cutting into the cake?
No, not at all. It just comes right out.
Oh, look at the
pan.
sides of that. And look at that pan. A little soap and water, you're done. So Arleen and Julia would like to thank you today for joining us on how to troubleshoot baking cakes and cupcakes.